We good? Okay, so there you have it. So I'd like to announce the main event for May 19th, and I'm proud to say that one of our top free agents that we signed last year is coming to fight in the UK, and that's Roy McDonald is going to fight Paul Daley as a main event here on the 19th at the SSE Arena in Wembley. And also on the card will be MVP, as well as Linton Vassell. So as we put the other fights together, we'll keep everybody posted. But the main event will be Paul Daley fighting Roy McDonald. When I think about these two guys up here with me, it's really two of the biggest stars we have in Bellator. And last year we signed, Benson Henderson, and we signed Fedor Emelianenko. We signed, a bunch of guys. But these two guys have consistently delivered. And as a promoter, what we like is when fighters just bring it. And honestly, I've never seen, Paul ever in a like a boring fight. Actually, one of the most exciting fights in my 30 years of being in the fight business was Paul fighting Diaz in Strikeforce, and that was an amazing fight, and it was something I'll never forget. I mean, to me, it was like the Tommy Hearns Hagler fight for MMA. King Mo, don't laugh. No, but it was an amazing fight. And same thing with MVP. You got one of the most talented superstars here in the sport, and together, they're going to represent the UK. And the genesis of this event was really 2 years ago when we had the UK team come to America and fight the Mohegan Sun. And so now we're going to bring some of the best fighters in the world here again. And last year, I remember having a press conference and announcing the fights. And then during the post-fight press conference, it was like, when are you guys coming back again? Well, we went to Dublin with partnership with BAMA with David Green. Thank you, David, for helping us out over there. And we went to going to Belfast next week. So we're here to stay. We have a great television partner that is Channel 5 and Spike UK. We got great fighters in the region. We got great fighters all over the world, and we're going to bring them all here to fight throughout the years to come. So we are dedicated, committed to being here in the UK. And I'm looking forward to this fight because this is a fight that when I signed Roy McDonald, I said his first fight has to be Paul Daley. That is the fight that everybody wants to see. And so and that fight will have title implications. Whoever wins that fight will get a shot at Douglas Lima, and that'll be fighting for the 170-pound weight class championship fight. So at this time, I'd just like to open up for remarks. Paul, why don't you go ahead and start, and we'll go with MVP after him.
Well, the fight's been announced. It's a massive fight. Rory McDonald, a very, very tough test for myself. Rory is no joke. Probably top 5 in the world at the moment, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm prepared for a tough battle. And I know it's not the fight MVP wanted, but, sometimes I got to think about myself and prioritize things.
Great, thank you. And MVP, any comments?
Yeah, everyone online, see what I wanted. I wanted Paula to get into the cage and step up, and I think that would have been a much bigger fight for the UK.
Let's get it right. It would be Michael stepping up. It wouldn't be me stepping up. It would be him stepping up. When Michael was fighting in trousers for orange juice and sandwiches, I was getting paid the same person who's getting paid now.
You had your time to speak. Thank you. So, yes, a little bit disappointed, but, the same thing's going to happen as last time. Last year, he was the main event. I don't think anybody can remember what that ever happened to him in that last fight. No one was talking about him in that last fight.
I lost against a champion. You never fought a champion, brother. You never fought a champion. You've been fighting guys that are coming out of retirement. I should have helped Cyborg into the cage for that fight. He should have had like a walking stick and a Zimmer frame. And man's taking props off of that win.
Paula, calm down, man. I'm going to bust a vein in your forehead. What's wrong with you? Jeez. But yeah, I'm going to be putting on a big show, the same way I did last year.
So should we open up for questions at this point? Anyone for the media or for the broadcast?
Questions?
Paul, first of all, obviously, Mike's been going pretty hard on social media trying to call you out.
He said sign the contract. At any point, did Bellator approach you to make this fight with Page?
Yeah, definitely. They approached me for the fight, but like I said, I have to prioritize things. I think the Rory McDonald's a better fight for me right now. Like I said, when I was fighting in front of 10,000 people, getting paid the same purses he's getting now, he was fighting for orange juice and sandwiches in his trousers. You know what I mean? So there's a certain journey that you have to make to get to the top of the hill. And in my opinion, I'm at the top of the hill right now.
He's put out memes, images. He put out a rap video this morning. Have you seen all this, and what have you made of it?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
No, all your brethren are telling you about it.
I haven't seen it. I don't pay attention to fools.
Sure you don't.
Okay.
Pay attention to fools. I'm investing on the stock market and buying houses. I'm not listening to this idiot.
Mike, you've been very creative with trying to get this fight put together. Where does the creative juices come from when you try to put these kind of images and rap videos together? And are you disappointed then that those efforts haven't led to this fight being made?
Nah, you know what? I've always been different. I've always been a bit controversial. From the second I stepped into the cage, I always like to be. I don't just want to go on the mic and just say the same old things that every other fighter's doing. I like to be a bit more creative. So that's just me as a person. Yes, the fight's not happened, but I still go on.
The fight will happen. The fight will happen. It's just not going to happen now. The fight will happen, and both of us will get paid, and that's what I'm all about. When we get paid, and when we get paid well, you're going to be just as happy as I am.
All right, my thing is directly to you. Yeah, my thing is you could have come to me. You could have said that. We could have spoke about that, but you decided to do it behind my back. I thought we was actually all right. You go behind my back to actually go, oh yeah, and badmouth me. But you tried to badmouth me. Come on, you gotta behave yourself, man. So when you get it back like this, you can't complain. Feel me? All right.
Just one question for Scott. Scott, all the rumor and speculation about this fight potentially being held in London, it did get a lot of the fans in the UK really excited about the prospect. Can you perhaps go on the record now that if and when this fight is put together by Bellator in the future, you will hold it here in the UK, here in London?
I mean, that fight would just make sense here, so I would say yes. But, I'd like to just speak to this for a second. Paul made it very clear to me he wants another shot at Douglas Lima and wants to get the belt. And so this was the path to the championship. So, that's why we went in this direction, right? And there will be time. I mean, we're going to throw 28 events this year. So, this fight could happen sometime maybe in 2017. So, it might not be that far away.
Joel Campbell, Voice Newspaper, Global Sport in Colour, Nothing Long, Combat and Strength Podcast. Question for Scott first. Just wanted to know, Scott, when you came on the Combat and Strength Podcast, you said that you were happy with the London show before at the O2. You're at Wembley this time. Just wanted to know, are Attack Promotions, will they be involved in this?
You know what? Right now, it's going to be a Bellator promotion only. But I know Andy's here, so we'll sit down and talk to Andy. But right now, it's a Bellator show. MVP, obviously you were disappointed that Paul DALEY went about calling you out in the way that he did. Is that really the reason you want to fight him, or does this fight just make sense?
There's a reason that my antics are happening online. We both sat in this similar position where we're just sitting down. People have asked us the question before, and we've both, in the same manner, been like, if we fight, we fight. Because we're cool, it's not going to be something that we're not going to target each other. We're not going to act a certain way towards each other because we're cool. So I thought. So then when some people sending me stuff online about him talking about me in the manner that he did, I just found it disrespectful. So this is, like I said, it started up my antics. Like, if the fight happened, I thought it would be a good fight. And I understand where Paul's coming from in terms of, okay, we can be on a bigger paycheck and do it in a bigger way. And even still, I think the hype around what we've already caused is only going to make it that much bigger the next time we come and it actually happens. So, yeah, big things are going to happen. But I personally feel I've lost a lot of respect for him over this little back and forward that we had. So, yeah.
Last question, Paul. Was this fight just inevitable, you and MVP? Was it always going to happen?
Yeah, the fight will happen, like I say. And, I don't say anything about someone behind their back that I cannot say to their face. And I haven't been talking about MVP. Anything that I do have to say, I'll say it to his face. I've got 2 girls.
So why didn't you?
I was gonna say I got 2 girlfriends. And
So why didn't
you? I got 2 kids. Yeah, she sat right there. My wife sat right there. My words are getting mumbled up and shit. But anyway, I got 2 children. I ain't got time to be talking about MVP.
Say you ain't got time, but you did.
I ain't got time.
You ain't got time, but you did.
I ain't even got time for this now, Mike. Like, I'm fighting
Real.
Rory McDonald. This will have its moment.
Yes, congratulations.
This will have its moment.
But
When
you
you
did.
step up.
You're talking this, but you did. And again, in
Mike,
front of the
Mike,
cameras,
Mike,
you're not saying anything.
You're going to
But
have
you
your
did.
time. You will have your time.
But you did, so you
And I
can't
hope
talk
when
crap
you get
now.
what you asked for,
You
you're
can't
still
talk crap
smiling
now.
afterwards.
I don't
'cause
care.
I don't think
When we
you're
go
gonna
we go at
be.
it. Fights happen all the time. I don't
Mike,
care. I'm
Mike.
saying. You
This
were
will have its
disrespectful.
time. This will have its time. And when it comes to promoting this fight, we'll do it properly.
Listen,
Right now,
I
I'm
know how to
talking about
promote
Rory
fights. Trust
McDonald.
me, I know how to promote fights.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, next question.
Gareth A. Davis, journalist and broadcaster. Great to have you here today, gentlemen. I want to ask Scott, first of all, what's the electricity like sitting there between these two at the moment?
You know, you can definitely feel that there's some energy here, you know, but really it's like, look, you know, this is the fight business, and, you know, these guys are in the same weight class. I think there'll be a point in time where they do compete against each other, and, you know, we'll look forward to that time. But, you know, right now it's going to be DALEY versus Roy McDonald, which is a big fight with title implications, and the next time we see you, Gareth, we'll have the whole fight card lined up, including MVP's opponent, and we'll announce the rest of the card here maybe in a couple of weeks.
That was my next question, actually. Obviously, we're talking about Michael fighting Paul at the moment. We don't have an opponent yet for Michael, is that right?
Yeah, I think that's something we'll finalize in the next, you know, coming week or so. Mm-hmm.
What's the beef, really, Michael, with Paul? I mean, he's been around, he's a great star in MMA. I mean, he's battled against being banned.
That is it, Mike. That is it, Gareth. That for everything you've just said there is the beef with me. It's because Michael wants what I've got, basically. He's what I call like an internet-based star. He's like a Justin Bieber.
You crazy?
You know what I mean? He's like a Justin Bieber.
Are you crazy?
He's not like a real
Paula,
star.
behave yourself, man.
You know
You're
what I
acting
mean?
out.
He's like
Paula,
a Justin Bieber.
behave yourself, man. You're acting out. Why would I want anything you have? Anything you have? Are you
What do
crazy?
you want?
My reputation comes
your
from years in the
listen,
game.
I don't
Years in the
care.
game. Years
I don't
in the
care
game.
for your reputation.
Like I said, when
I don't
you
care for
probably
your
looked up to me.
reputation.
Used to watch
Bro,
me
I
on
didn't
Sky
watch you.
Sports.
I didn't
used to
watch
me
you.
on Sky
I didn't
Sports in
watch
front
you.
of 10,000
I
people.
did not watch you. Trust me, I didn't watch you. I found out about you when I got into MMA, like most people. And I've been saying that from the beginning. I don't change my tone. You've changed your tone. That's what I'm saying about you. Snaky, and I've heard it from a couple of people as well. Snaky. You know what? I've actually got an interesting picture. I've got an interesting picture of Paula. This is where Paula came from. Got an interesting picture of Paula, dressed up, a little bit feminine.
I was dressed up.
Hold on, come on, Paula, 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 Paula. All right, we'll see. I got stuff for you. Let's see. Put it out.
Let me just ask you, thank you for your answers. Let me just ask you this then, Michael. You know, you obviously you're a very exciting fighter with a very unique style. But, you know, Paul has had an incredible career against some, as Scott said, you know, the Hagler Hearns of MMA. The fight with Nick Diaz was off the charts, frankly. It was a berserker event and a fight. Surely you must have watched Paul. There's a reason why you want to fight him. He's got an incredibly exciting style, as you have. And hopefully your style to match. You must have looked and have some respect for him as a fighter and what he's achieved as well.
I had respect for him. Like I said, when I genuinely did not follow MMA in the way most people did. Even now, people will talk to me about fights, and I haven't even caught up yet. So I did not look up to him because I was in the freestyle kickboxing world, and there was many people to look up to there, and that was my world. I didn't know anything outside of that. I was that typical fan that when anybody's tried to show me MMA, I was just like, oh, they're rolling around again. I didn't like that. I was that typical ignorant fan that, you know, I laugh at now. So I didn't look up to him until I came into the sport, and I was like, oh, everyone talks about Paul Daley on the UK circuit. His name came up very early after I did what I did when I came in. But they're talking about him. He's had a longer career in the sport. So obviously he's done a lot more than me. But I don't look at that. This is the first time I've called anybody out. The first time. And I said I wouldn't do it because I genuinely don't care for people. I just feel disrespected. And that's it.
Yeah, hi. This is Derek Chisora reporting for Derek Chisora TV. You know, when I see great athletes sitting up on the podium, I like that. This is a question for both fighters, actually. What do you guys respect about each other, and what don't you like about each other?
It's a difficult question. There's nothing I dislike about Michael, okay? He's a great fighter. He's done great things for the time he's been in the sport. But from my point of view, I just feel like he is that internet, social media, you know, paid viewers type, look at me type fighter. I've done it the hard way as such. You know, I've come up, I fought in Essex in a smoky pub in front of some wannabe gangsters and smoking and spitting in the ring and shit like that. I came up that way. My first fight was for 50 pounds. Do you know what I mean? So for this guy to be calling me out the way that he has, and he has shown a disrespect is, you know, for the way he's come up is just, it's a little bit irritating, but I don't dislike that. I see that he's taking a shot at the top of the mountain, like I had to do when I came up. So it is what it is.
No one's ever seen me do this before, so there's obviously a reason behind it. And like I said, I don't care for people. Anybody that talks to me about, oh, such and such has said this, or people are saying that, it doesn't bother me. Yes, we've taken two different paths to come to the same place. That's it. But what him saying, relating our paths, if I was training with him back then, I would have gone the same route as him, but I came from a different place. I came from freestyle. You came from full contact kickboxing. So it's different. So him saying, oh, one thing, oh yeah, I respect this fighter, you know, I don't have any malice. But then when he's by himself saying, that guy's not on my level, man. He's Adrian Broner to me. Blah, that don't make sense. I'm saying my thing is, if you were saying that before, it wouldn't bother me. And again, all these call-outs wouldn't have even happened because he would have been saying that from scratch. He would have been calling me Justin Bieber, calling me whatever you want to. Say it while I'm here. But then when I leave and we're supposed to, I'm telling people, yeah, me and Paul are cool. And then he's going around and saying things like that. Not direct.
I've said it, Mark,
when?
From day one. If you ask the production staff for Bellator, and
the
they ask me about you, I say,
staff?
yeah, listen, because you do the pre-fight interviews, and they ask me about you and say, what do you think about MVP? And I said it. I'm Floyd Mayweather. He's Broner, and that's the way I see it. That is you're what comes after. I've already done everything.
That's because you're older than me, bro. You
Yeah,
started
just by
earlier
a
than
few
me.
years. And
You
that's
started
another
earlier
thing.
than me.
That's just a few years, Mike. You're 30 years old. I'm 33.
When did you start in the game? When did you start in the game? When did you start in the game?
I'm Mayweather.
That's the
you're
gap.
Broner. That's
That's
not
the gap.
insult. Broner's a talented fighter, but he just ain't Mayweather. That's it.
Swear. But wait, Mayweather is undefeated. Are you undefeated? Yeah. Then shut up, then, man.
You don't get it, Mike. You don't get
serious?
it. It's not about the record.
Well, then you can't relate yourself to those kind of people. Don't relate yourself to those kind of people. If he was here now, I'd probably slap you in the
Hey, guys,
mouth.
let's go to the next question. Next question.
Broner, bro.
You're
Actually,
like
I got
Broner,
one more
bruv.
question.
Paul, allow it, man.
This is for you. Since you're the promoter for both fights, as a betting man, I like to bet a lot. Where would you tell me to put my money on? The man on your left or the man on your right?
I'd say keep your money. Gareth, next question, please.
Michael Morgan, WOE TV. Scott, you said that this will be a Bellator promotion, solely Bellator. Does that mean that you're going to be working in any capacity with any UK promoters? Obviously, what seems to be the formula for Bellator is that you actually get the undercard in conjunction with, localized talent with localized promoters. And if so, who will be the localized promoters you're working with?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to sit down and talk to David after the fight here. I mean, after the press conference. But we just haven't had a chance to chat yet. But it has been our style to go in and work with the local promoter or a couple matchmakers to find the best fights, because we are looking for, the next star here as well. We're looking for the next, MVP, the next Paul Daley, the next group of young fighters that will develop into, potentially Bellator signed athletes, and that's where you find them. I mean, to me, it's like when, and this is a while ago, but when we found Luke Rockhold, we found Tyron Woodley, we found Ronda Rousey, we found Daniel Cormier. They were all, Daniel was brought to me by a trainer, but everybody else, they were all fighting on, like we go to Missouri, and then Tyron Woodley had no fights, coming right out of wrestling, and we put him on the undercard, give him a shot, and we said, okay, let's sign this guy, and we think he's got some potential. So that's how you find them. There's gems out here, and it's our job and our matchmaker's job to go find them. So we will be working with some local talent here, and hopefully we'll find the next big stars here.
Okay, next up, Paul. It seems like you're on the opposite end of what you're used to in terms of sitting in front of a press conference. Really and truly, what's going through your mind right now? I mean, really and truly, we've never seen you in a situation where you are almost not necessarily on the defensive, but you're not on the attack.
I've been there where Mike is. He needs the breakout fight. I'm the breakout fight, and I understand that. I'm saying there's a time for it, and when that time comes, I'll...
You're definitely not the breakout fight.
Well, you need a breakout fight because you've been fighting bums, Mike, and old men. Let's get real.
Cool.
I would be undefeated if I was fighting the guys you're fighting. This guy was running from Brendan Ward for about 2 years. When they offered me the fight, I says, I'll fight the guy, just not in his hometown. That's the fight that was given to you, man. You were scared of Brendan Ward.
Do you really want to start talking back off his talk?
They're the kind of guys you need to fight.
Do you really want to talk? Is that what you want to talk? Back off his talk. Back off his talk.
Trust me.
Back off his talk.
May 19th,
how many fights have you?
Rory McDonald.
Wait, hold on. When you was offered that fight, did you accept it straight away?
I'm going to enjoy the fight. It's going to be a
when
great
you was offered
fight.
that fight,
After
did you accept
I'll
it?
be fighting for the title.
Nah, you didn't.
Mike will be fighting.
So stop talking
some guy.
shit, man.
I don't know, maybe
Let's
that
go
guy
to the
over
next
there, I
question,
don't know.
please. Next question,
Talk
please.
shit.
Okay, I'm intrigued, just finally before we move on. We've heard a lot of the rumours about the Whoopi Goldberg costume, and I thought it was Whoop-ass Goldberg that you were actually going as. But just quickly, just clear that up for us. Why were you dressed as a woman?
Mike, why did you put the question like that? Come on, Mike. But anyway, yeah, it was like a school fancy dress day. My mum didn't have money to really pay for your Spider-Man and your Batman. So she did have a wig, though, a dreadlock wig. And she did have a few dresses. So I thought, shit, I'm ugly enough to pass for Whoopi Goldberg. So that's the way I played it. So I went to school as Whoopi Goldberg, which was, there's only one picture out there. And if you look hard, you'll find it.
All right, Paul. Let's talk about Rory McDonald. He's a massive signing for Bellator. What have you made of Rory over the last couple of years while he was fighting in the UFC?
I think Rory is a fantastic fighter, extremely talented, well-rounded, but is one of those well-rounded fighters that also comes to finish, which is it's a rarity. He's not well-rounded trying to score points. He'll come out and try and put guys away. It's an extremely dangerous fight for me. His last fight, I don't take too much from it because for me, looking at him, it looked like his heart was elsewhere. He was just trying to get through the fight against Stephen Thompson. It didn't look like he really wanted to be there. I'm expecting a different Rory. I'm expecting the old Rory. And I think our fight is going to be fantastic. It's definitely going to be worthy of the main event.
And a question for Mike. Mike, why don't you break down Paul Daley versus Rory McDonald? How do you see that fight playing out, and who wins that one?
I genuinely don't care. I swear to you. I'm not bothered by the fights because that's not my fight. And the same way I've been when I first came in, I don't follow people like that. I'm just on my own mission. I'm trying to see how big MVP can get, and that's it.
Daley, obviously last time Bellator was here in London, it didn't go your way. So how are you approaching this fight with Rory, and how are you expecting this to be different this time?
I'm fighting a different fighter for one, I think my mental state and the game plan that we had for Douglas Lima was just rushed a little. I'm still 100% confident that if we were to fight again, I could beat Douglas Lima. It's just that what we had in mind, I just pushed it a little too much. With Rory, like I say, he's a different fighter, a different plan. I just have to have that little bit more composure for the first 30 seconds, you know, not go out there thinking I have to prove something as such to the crowd. Just go out there, stay relaxed, and take care of business.
Do you feel that experience may have helped you maybe going into this fight? Obviously, Rory is a big name for you, and it has that title implication. Do you think maybe you've learned from that kind of experience?
Most definitely. Even my last fight against Brendan Ward, I learned from the Douglas Lima experience. You know, but the Brendan Ward fight was a massive fight, 17,000 people in the arena, headlined by Tito and Chael. It was a lot of pressure. The crowd was crazy, and I just had that in the back of my head not to make the same mistake, go out there all crazy and stuff. And I think I did that. I had a lot more composure in difficult situations, and the end result speaks for itself.
Paul, you know, Scott mentions it, that it's all about getting that, you know, that path to the World Championship, getting Douglas Lima again. You've potentially got, you know, a path of killers in front of you. Rory McDonald, a blood and guts type warrior, as you described him, Douglas Lima, and then potentially MVP after that. Looking at that direct line of opponents that you have, what are the thoughts going through your head, knowing that this could arguably be the toughest run of your entire career?
Well, they're the fights that I want. These are the fights where I perform best, these hardcore fights. If you look at my record, I'm hit and miss against these top-level guys, but I really think I'm in a position now where I'm mentally and physically, and you know, the way I prepare, I'm right for taking out these top guys. I've fought all these guys now, your current champions like Tyron Woodley, your Nick Diaz's, and all those other top names, your Kazuo Masaki's Japanese champion. All these guys, I've fought there, I've been there. I know I'm capable of being in there with these guys. It's just that the adjustments that I needed to make, I didn't make at the time, and now I've made those adjustments, so I'm ready for it.
Is that the difference experience? Is that the major edge?
Just making sure that my mental game's right, really. Just making sure I'm composed enough and I understand the game fully to take care of business.
Question for Michael. Obviously, it's frustrating that you haven't got the Paul Daley fight, the fight that you wanted. Scott mentions that, you know, there are talks about who your opponent will be. But for you now, how do you regroup? How do you look forward? And how do you replan how you're going to move forward and eventually get this huge opportunity and potentially a title shot as well?
There's nothing to really replan. I was just hoping he would bite. He didn't bite. And take the fight. So he's got a fight. I got to wait now to see who I've got. Figure out game plan, just the normal. Figure out game plan, what this fighter likes to do, and then how I can put on the biggest show ever.
One last one for Scott. This big show, May 19th, Wembley. There's another show, UFC. It's had a massive backlash online from the fans. They didn't really like the main event, Jimmy Manuwa, Corey Anderson. This already seems to be getting a lot of praise on social media. Was that the whole idea, coming back to London and making sure you please the fans with an amazing main event?
You know, I think the answer to that is yes, but also, you know, it's been our mission statement to put on the biggest and the best fights that we can. And like I said, we started with the Tito Chael fight. I mean, 2 million people watch, you know, Paul fight in America alone, not including the 140 countries around the world. And then we have Fedor fighting Matt. We have King Mo fighting Rampage Jackson March 31st. And then this fight after that. I mean, listen, our guns are loaded, man, and we're going to put on some great fights this year. Just you watch.
Question for Scott. On the topic of broadcasting, the last Bellator event, UK fans weren't able to watch it through legal means for at least a week. Obviously, we've got this huge event coming to the UK. Can you tell us what the TV situation will be for this event in particular, and also for Bellator going forward? Is there going to be a move to try and reduce that gap and maybe even get some events on live TV moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we're going to continue working to close that gap. And yet, at the end of the day, everybody knows, look, it's instant today, you know. But you know, as we travel around, talk to all the different broadcast partners, and you know, everybody you know says the same thing. You know, can we air it live, or the fans want the same thing? Can we air it live? Sometimes the networks can do it, sometimes they can't. But I think, you know, with Channel 5 and Spike UK, especially the fight here, it's definitely going to have you know, same night airing as like last time. And I think we'll go Spike UK for the first hour, and then it'll go Channel 5 after that. But I understand what you're asking, and yeah, I think that as we do these fights internationally, can the fans watch it live here? I would say that you're going to continue to see us, you know, shrinking that gap over and over and over. and to the point where I think that eventually it'll be hopefully a live airing and then a repeat, maybe something in the future. But we got to sit down and talk to Craig and everybody over there, and we'll work that out.
Is there the potential option for, if not linear broadcast, live streaming via your broadcast partner's website as a backup option?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, we should bring you into our focus group next time we sit down with Craig and everybody, so we'll let you know. But we're working on it. I want to let you know that we are working on it because, believe me, what you're saying, I'm getting the emails too,
Yeah.
right? And our whole company is getting, and we have meetings that we talk about this, so it's frustrating, but I just say urge patience, be patient, and we'll be working on that.
Good stuff, thank you. Question for Michael as well. Obviously, the DALEY fight is off the table for now. We're talking about another fight is coming for you for London. If you could pick your opponent, who would you pick? Who do you want to fight next?
There was only one person I wanted to fight, and like I said, this is repeating myself again. I don't call people out. This was more personal. It had nothing to do with my journey, where I want to go, what direction I want to take. Because like I said, I'm on my own mission. So I don't call people out. I leave it to Bellator, leave it to my coaches. They decide, I turn up, I do what I do. But this was personal.
And final one from me, without hogging the mic too much. For Paul, given that Michael wants to face you, who do you think he should be fighting next to earn the opportunity to fight you further down the line?
There's a number of guys that I think are suitable for Mike. I'll leave that to the matchmakers, but off the top of my head, I would say guys like Brennan Ward, Chidi, Nikuani, some guy like that, Koreshkov, someone like that. The top tier Bellator welterweights would be a good fight for Mike.
Hi, question for Paul. Chase. Extraterrestrial martial arts, talking of martial arts. Basically, I just want to ask that, in the gyms, a lot of people, as soon as Michael was speaking to you directly, and because obviously all of us in the gym are massive fans of both of you, all the fighters, everyone look up to you guys. And when they've seen, don't you feel like, especially that you're fighting in Wembley, you're fighting in one of the oldest arenas for sports, that, that the welterweight in England kind of has to be, the welterweight champion has to be crowned. People both look at you two as the top guys as welterweight. So when you made that decision of Rory or Michael, what kind of pushed you more over to Rory,
Just the path towards the belt, really. Like Rory is a top tier guy. He's been at the top with other promotions, fought for the title, been in tough battles. He's well regarded as a pure fighter. So I think for the challenge and for the UK fans and market, that's a great fight. Like I say, I'm not denying that the fight with Mike will be a big fight, and it got a bit of traction, but it's not the fight for right now. The fight will happen. I don't duck anybody, but for right now, the fight's not going to happen. And he called for the fight, and when it happens, trust me, I just hope he's smiling afterwards.
We both know, Mike. Do you feel like when you two fight each other, do you think that's do you think finally welterweight someone's gonna be crowned? You'll be number one. Do you think that's the crown? You think you guys are the two guys in the welterweight division? Are you the two top guys in the division? Do you think? Would you say?
You know what? The welterweight divisions across the world is, for me, I think is insane. This is why I actually enjoy being a part of this division. And Bellator, our welterweight division, seems to be just getting more and more dangerous. Just every month, you just see someone else and someone new signed or someone new up and coming through. So yeah, just the division in general. To be at the top of that division, or even classed as one of those names that people would class as being at the top of one of those divisions, feels good. And I've got a lot more growing. I've got a lot more to achieve, and I'm going to do it.
Guys, we're going to take one or two more questions, and then we'll take some photos and open it up for one-on-ones. So we'll do one or two more, starting with Gareth.
Thank you, Danny. Paul, not to keep harking back about this, but about 10 years ago, a lot of people here may not know that you and Dan Hardy were literally living on floors in Los Angeles, taking 3 buses across the city, eating out of tins, basically. Yeah, can you tell us about that story? Because a lot of people don't know. Like you said, your first fight in smoky rooms in Essex. We've all been there with our cigars while you were fighting, and Tell us about that early journey, because a lot of people don't know now what you went through at the very beginning. Those journeys in LA, that living in LA.
It was hard. The journey that you're on about, I think me and Dan, I was about 19, Dan was about 21. I promoted a show with my coach. We got about 2,000 people there. He gave me the profit. He gave me all of it. It was supposed to split. He says, you know what, if you're really going to do this, take this money and go out to America. So we went out to American Top Team. Dan heard about the journey that I was going on, and Dan got a credit card. You know, he had no money. He was just fresh out of university or whatever. He got a credit card, and we traveled over to Florida. We got an apartment, and by the time we paid for our apartment, we only had like $200 left. So we was there for like a month. So we went to the local store and we bought some cans of tuna, some rice. And one night, Dan would sleep on the bed, I'd sleep on the sofa, and we went back and forth like this for a month. And that's just one of many journeys. I've had an up and down career. I've struggled. I've been at the top. I've been at the bottom. I went from fighting at the MGM Grand in front of 20,000 people on New Year's Eve against Dustin Hazlett, getting the knockout bonus, to fighting in a leisure center in front of 500 people in Newcastle, you know, and now I'm back at the top. So these are things that I think have built my character and a lot of people don't know about. And for me, like I say, for Michael to say certain things about me, I think it's a little bit disrespectful from the hard work that I've put in. In many cases, if it wasn't for me, this dude wouldn't be sitting right here right now with all these cameras here. So it is what it is. This time will come, though.
Thank you for putting that in perspective, because I think it is there, and it's a story that needs to be known. Final question for me. Scott, as someone mentioned here earlier, that there are kind of accusations or kind of criticism online that the UFC or the other company that is very big in this industry has kind of not squandered an opportunity, but doesn't seem to be increasing its profile and its fighter rosters in the UK, in this market. It seems to be fairly static for whatever reason that is. Can you explain to us, you know, from a higher perspective, just how intent you are on making these people stars in our country?
I mean, look at the ownership group of Bellator. You know, it's owned by Viacom, and Viacom owns Channel 5. Viacom owns Spike UK. It's just a natural fit that we come here and we, you know, find the new stars. We build the current stars, and we come here and throw big fights. And that was the game plan a year ago, was international expansion. I mean, yesterday I was in Budapest. We announced our Budapest fight, and then we announced a fight on Monday or Tuesday in Torino, which happened April 8th. April 15th will be Budapest, and then here on the May 19th fight card. So all around the world, we're gonna take this product to as many cities as we can, and we're gonna open in new cities, which will have something probably to announce in the next couple of months as to where we're going to go at the second half of the year. But the UK is a special place. I mean, if you look at the talent that has come out of this country, it's pretty amazing. And we're going to continue to nurture that and build that. And you know, we've been talking to Channel 5 and Spike UK about maybe doing just a UK series on its own and just have something endemic for the local audience here. So that's something, and that'll cultivate the next, you know, big star as well. So we're going to put these guys on the biggest platform we can, make them popular all around the world. But, you know, May 19th is special because when we signed Rory McDonald, really I said this division is stronger than any other league's division at 170. These guys can compete at any way. I mean, at any you know, any other league out there, they can compete. And so when you think about Kreshkov, Lima, MVP, DALEY, I mean, they're all elite guys, and you know what? And it's our job to continue to, you know, build their careers as well as, you know, find the next guys, which we will do here, and we do that by coming here and promoting. You know, it's one thing to scout, but to put these guys into fights where, you know, like I said, we've been working with David Green from Bama, and that's been working out extremely well. We're going to continue that relationship. You know, they have a bunch of guys here that are you know, the stars of the future, and look at the you know, the other guys' card. It's mostly all the Bama guys on the card, the next card. So, but you know, to me, my style has ever been, you know, this. You know, I don't like to compare. All I know is that, look, we have great fighters in the UK. We're going to put on great fights in the UK. We'll do 2 or 3 events, and then hopefully we'll grow from there. But like I said, eventually we'd like to do our own UK series here, maybe in 2018.